living the longest. So we want to know what's in the water.
Well, here's the guy who went to go find out. Dan Buettner, National Geographic Fellow, author of The Blue Zone's Kitchen, 100 Recipes to Live to 100, is here to share a few of the recipes and what he's learned. And why did you feel like, I got to go and find these particular recipes?
Well, I work for National Geographic, so we found places around the world where people live the longest, and we reverse engineered their longevity to find out exactly what they've been eating. Because if you want to live to be 100, eat like a centenarian.
Okay.
And this is the food.
And this is what they ate. And
yes.
Fiber is a big thread through all of
Okay,
it.
so fiber is the big story. So in our microbiome, this virtual organ here, it weighs about 6 pounds.
Okay.
It produces something called short-chain fatty acids, which goes into our bloodstream. It reduces inflammation, reduces or fine-tunes our immune system, even adjusts our mood. These 100 trillion bacteria in our gut, they only eat fiber. The standard American diet doesn't have much fiber in it. So when you take beans and barley and put them together and eat it and make it in a delicious soup like this, and the end result is a rioting carnival of good fibers that
Rioting carnival! Hand it over. So this comes from Sardinia, Italy.
Sardinia, yes.
Minestrone, right?
I saw centenarians eating this every single day of their life for lunch. Every day. And you know what this?
Talk about what's in it. Like why? What's in there? Beans. What else?
Okay, so it has beans. When you mix beans and barley together, these two come together to create a whole protein. That actually has more protein than a steak does. People don't realize this, and it's 100% plant-based. If there's one longevity food in the world, I would say that. If you're going to eat one food every day for the rest of your life to better your chances.
And there are potatoes in there. People might say, "Oh, it's got carbs and all that," but so
yeah,
what?
but they're healthy. They're complex carbohydrates.
Yeah.
It's got onions and tomatoes in there.
Delicious.
A beautiful.
Delicious.
Yes.
It is. Okay, now let's go to another part of the word. Is this Nicoya, Costa Rica?
Nicoya. This is Central America.
Jose Guevara is a cowboy there who gave you this recipe.
Yes, 105-year-old. Yes, go ahead. So here's a dish right here. I just want to go right to the main event here. So Americans often struggle. What do we eat for breakfast? Bacon and eggs aren't all that good for you. Cereals tend to be sweet. This is a Central American breakfast. It's called gallo tinto, and it's beans, rice, onions, and some pepper. So it's really delicious. Once again, you take the grain, the rice, and the beans together. It's a whole protein. And it's
just
delicious.
regular white rice.
You would eat that. Well, okay, here's the magic of this particular dish. They don't use fresh white rice. They use rice left over from yesterday.
Wow.
And when you leave it in the refrigerator for a day, the amount of soluble fiber increases. And the reason soluble fiber is important is that when it moves through you, it absorbs excess hormones and toxins, so it's not sitting around causing damage.
I'm interested that you would have white rice and not like, brown rice. I would thought that was more healthy.
So if you eat white rice by itself, not all that good, but when you mix it with beans and onions and some peppers, you lower the glycemic load. You slow down the absorption, so those calories end up as energy and not around your midsection.
Okay.
So it's the way you
Does it
mix
taste
these.
breakfasty?
Yeah, it does.
Okay.
Cool.
All right.
Yes.
Purple potato.
All right. So the longest-lived women in the history of the world lived in Okinawa, Japan, and for most of their lives, they ate this.
Purple potato.
Purple sweet potatoes. About 60% of their dietary intake came from this. And this is, you see this purple here?
Beautiful.
This is the same antioxidant you see in blueberries. 150% more of that antioxidant than you see in blueberries. Two simple ingredients. Purple sweet potatoes, which you can eat by themselves, but you add some coconut milk, you mash it up. It's a great side dish. You can almost eat it as a dessert. If you're stuck on a desert island and you could only eat one food, it would be this.
Are these easy enough to find?
Yes, you can find them in most grocery stores. Whole Foods, for example, will for sure have them. Asian markets. You can use regular sweet potatoes.
Right.
Purple sweet potatoes are just a little bit more beautiful.
And then we end up in Japan.
The national dish of Okinawa is called goya champuru. It essentially just means stir fry. And part of the secret to this is cruciferous vegetables. So cruciferous
you love the cruciferous vegetables.
Yes, great for your microbiome. But cruciferous vegetables, it turns out, especially kohlrabi, seems to have an impact on your thyroid, which kind of slows it down. And one theory is that when you slow down your thyroid, it's like a cricket lighter put on low. You're not burning up your chi, your body energy as fast. So
is the idea like just eat a ton of this? like, or is it just eat a little of this every day and that's
the secret is try enough of these recipes until you find a half a dozen you like, and then eat them every day. Because when it comes to longevity, there's no short-term fix.
Yeah,
you got to find something you're going to do most days for years or decades. And this kind of food is easy to eat. You'd eat this every day.
And he's got 100 of these recipes actually in his new book. You can find the recipes and the information about the book today.com/food. The Blue Zone Kitchens. Again, today.com/shop if you want to buy the book and try the recipes at home.
All right.